Here at Haskins County, in the last week of July, we got not just one, not just two, but three different TTRPG products. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of those in this video. Hello, and thank you all for joining us again here today on Haskins County for another TTRPG Talk. This video series takes a look at tabletop role-playing games, related materials, makes suggestions for your own games, and takes a look at some of my own materials. What we are going to be taking a look at today is the Tiny Library. Well, one of them. This is Tiny Library 2. Tiny Cards Boogaloo, I guess, I don't know. But in any case, this is essentially the modern fantasy version of the Tiny Library that was created by Longtail. So yes, these are cards inside of here. So again, here it says Tiny Library Modern Fantasy is a deck of 51 different single card RPG fragments from dozens of different creators. One of them happens to be me. Haha. So yeah, we're taking a look not only at this just because it's cool and I got it, but also because I have something in here. So it says here each of these cards is completely modular and can be mixed or swapped and put in other games or taken out or whatever. To build a unique experience. I don't know if necessarily by putting different cards in here you can create like a complete game all by itself, but I do know that a lot of these can definitely be used to build up on top of an existing game. So we'll go ahead and pop this open. This box did come plastic wrapped. I went ahead and removed it for the sake of simplicity. But aha, here we have a little flyer that basically describes each of the different things that are in here all the way through. And again, here is Longtail and their website, which is long-tail.games. So yeah, again, as I mentioned just a second ago, there's 51 of these. So each one of them is described here, giving you their it lists the name of the card, the creator of the card, and their itch page, because all of these can also be found individually on itch. So for example, here's mine, the Blossoms of Power, my name, and my itch.io page, along with everybody else. So inside of here, of course, we have our cards. Let me get them out real quick. And each of these, so we have two small decks, and each of them is also wrapped just in card plastic, just like most other things. So it says here also, be sure to follow longtailgames.itch.io if you want to hear about game jams, because the way that these cards were created was that Longtail Games hosted a Itch Jam, and then everybody who participated and submitted a card basically got their card in this deck. We'll go ahead and open. Oh, let's do this side. We'll go ahead and open this one up. One of the disadvantages of this is, of course, they don't have a blank back. It's a front and back on each of these. So there we go. We'll do this one. So this one is a modern fantasy weather system. So this was by Marceline Lyman. Again, these are all built on the MOSAIC Strict sort of basis, where each of these is not designed to be a standalone element. You kind of have to use it together with other things. So this, again, is a weather card. So it says here, oh, yay, we have clear skies. On the start of a new day, roll a die. If you roll a 1 through 5, then the weather stays clear. But if you roll a 6, the weather changes, in which case you have to flip the card. Then over here it says the weather will be based on the real world month, or you can roll d12 for a random effect. So here we have a list of 12 different weather conditions, potentially. And again, we've got our random d12 on there and the months. So it's August right now. So August would be propagating insects. So our overcast weather would be basically like, I don't know, a locust plague or something. Or we're being swarmed by gnats. There's some other ones here. So we have thunderous emotions. Interesting. A blood brawl. So I guess a fight triggers. Extreme undergrowth. That would obviously not be great. Shrouding darkness. Maybe it could also be fog. Terrible silence. And then it says, of course, it says here at the start of a new day, roll the die again. If we roll a 1 through 4, then the weather continues to persist. If we roll a 5 or a 6, the weather changes. We flip the card back to clear skies. So yeah, that's how this one particularly worked. And again, this was from Marceline Lehman of Roly Poly Games. So I'll put that one down, and we'll pop open this one to take a look at our next card. Let's see, how about this one? All right, so this one is Portents. Again, this is, it mentions here, this is MOSAIC Strict. So it says here, portents of the Chthonic gods who sleep beneath the city. So it says here, once per day, roll 2d6 and record the sum of the 2 dice. If your result is the same as the previous number, you witness the next portent. Once all 5 portents have occurred, then you may perform a ritual in the metro tunnels underneath the city. So it says here, watch the skies. So number 1 is a dark cloud swirls high over the station. Number 2 is flocks of pigeon swarms into the metro tunnels. Okay, that's creepy. 3 is any food spoils or rots immediately once it is carried into the metro. 4, cats appear in the train tracks, frantically clawing at the ground. 5, the black comet streaks over the city and then stops, hanging motionless in the sky. And this was from Exunt Press, which of course is at exuntpress.itch.io. So yeah, this is just a basic card where you have sort of the building dread of, you know, Cthulhu's coming or something really bad's coming from underneath the city. Yeah, and that would obviously be definitely ruining your day. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and mix these together real quick, and then we'll pull one more card before we take a look at mine. Let's do this one. So this card is your destination is 2d6 plus 2 stations away. This is Underground, a MOSAIC Strict tube crawl. So again, this is sort of traveling within the subway, and this was created by, it says here, M. Allen Hall. Yeah, so again, it says here your destination is 2d6 plus 2 stations away. Start your map. Draw a circle to mark your starting location. Draw 2 lines crossing through the circle, and each line will then connect to 2 different stations. Traveling extends the map. Each time you move along a line between the stations, roll on the travel table, which is back here. We'll take a look at that in a second. When you reach a new station, roll 2d4 to create the new station's connections. And here is a connection table. So it says here 2 end of the line, no connections. 3 and 4, the line loops back to a known station. So you have an overlap. 5 and 6, the line continues, creating 1 new station. 7, the line forks, creating 2 new stations. 8, the line continues, creating 1 new station, and a new line connects to this station, creating 2 new stations on either side. So that's interesting. That's so here basically just using, so honestly just using these connections can definitely help you build out like an underground, which would be definitely an interesting thing to do, especially, and again, obviously you'll want to use multiple different colors to mark out which lines are what's or whatnot. Here is our travel table. So it says here you roll 2d6. If you roll a 2, there's a twist of fate, and you end up creating a whole new map, adding d6 stations to the destination. Which again, you would have rolled 2d6 plus 2 at the beginning to figure out where you're going. So I'm assuming this basically means like we're starting here, we need to go to X, and X is 2d6. So you're going through. So this is assuming you're like in a new city and you have no idea what the subway system, how it works, or how it goes, or anything like that. You're literally just drawing it as you go. So yeah, again, 2, a twist of fate. You somehow end up in a completely different metro system, I guess. 3, time rewind. Arrive at a random station that you've already been to. Add +1 station to the destination. 4. The way is shut. The train must return to the last station. Mark this line with an X. Presumably, like there's uh, something wrong with the liner, I guess. 5 to 8. Joyriding. Arrive at the next station. -1 to your next destination. 9 to 11. Wrinkled space. Skip the next station on this line. -2 stations to the destination. Unnatural luck. If you rolled a 12, arrive at a random new station on the map. -d6 stations to your destination. Optional, you can of course add encounters. Roll a d6 at each station. On a 1, a random encounter occurs. Or of course you could make that more likely, less likely, whatever. So yeah, basically, this is a nice little chunk of tool that would be really useful for not only creating an underground map as you're going along, but also making things weird. Again, this is like modern fantasy, so you know this to me feels like a magical realism. Where random stuff is just happening on the subway station. There's nothing anybody can do about it. So yeah, that's really interesting. So now let's go ahead and take a look at mine real quick. It's kind of obviously hard to read because, of course, it's small and it's a card. So I'll read that for you in just a second. But just to give a basic description, this is basically a fragment that's lifted almost directly from several games that I've created previously, where basically we're utilizing a Venn diagram that I refer to as the blossom, because here we only have 3 petals, but we could have 4 or 5 or 6 or however many you want. Here there's just 3 just to save space, but of course if you want you could draw this on a different system, on a different piece of paper or something with 3, 4, 5, 6 circles, and just basically use it the same way. All that you want to do is just make sure that the circles that you're drawing don't only overlap with the 2 that are next to each other, and do not overlap in the middle. So yeah, this is this system basically is how you can set up magical spells or powers. This is exactly the way that the magical or the mystical powers work for the tutelary deities in my game, the Tutelary Society. Yeah. So it says here, basically, this is a MOSAIC Strict module for magic or power blooming inside you. Write a word on each of the petals of the blossoms here. These could be feelings, concepts, or things that you just generally find around you. Combine the adjacent words together to create a power or spell, and then write down a name or description. So here you would write the name or description. And so, yeah, our words go here. We get our spells or the overlap between the 2, and then our name or description goes on the line. So, for example, if we're combining together fire and health, this may create the spell Purifying Warmth. So basically, it's healing you and it's warming you up at the same time. However, if we're combining together fish and hunger, you might conjure up some fish because you're hungry, like a fish fillet. Or you might summon a school of flying dagger-wielding piranha. Who knows? Keep it a secret or cast away. Who am I to judge how you use your power? So, yeah, that's how this works. And again, you can integrate this basically into any game you want. And you also, if you wanted to, you could obviously adjust this where instead of putting together elements that create spells or magical powers or mystical powers or whatever, maybe you're writing down events and then you're writing down like skills that a character will have developed from those. I have several games that also use this exact same structure to do that as well. So yeah, the basic theming behind this specifically was just basically like you're suddenly developing. It's this kind of a tie into like a modern witch sort of fiction or stuff like that, where you end up with a modern magical powers suddenly developing in somebody who didn't have them before, and so this would be a way to potentially easily and quickly create those. So that was again the Tiny Library. It says here Tiny Library 2, but this is Tiny Library Modern Fantasy. there are 51 cards, so unfortunately there's no way I could go through all of them, but definitely I would recommend checking them out. You can obviously take a look at a lot of these individually on people's itch.io pages, but also I would definitely recommend getting the whole set because it's definitely worth it to have different things that you could integrate into your game, like generation tools for creating nemesis. We already looked at several where you're generating maps or portents or generators. So here's another generator where we're basically creating like a gold mine or abandoned gold mine or city or something. Here we have a climax resolution system. There's a whole bunch of stuff here, lots of different fragments that you can definitely throw together. And of course, you can combine these with the original Tiny library, or of course, the various things you can find in the Tiny Tome to help you with, throwing random things together to kind of create it in a TTRPG on the fly, or just to build and add on top of an existing game, just to add some extra flair, or to help you with creation or generation or whatever. So again, thank you for joining me. If you want to take a look at more things like this, definitely like and subscribe. This was one of 3 videos that I will be releasing this week. Sorry if you hear thunder and lightning outside. This is one of 3 cards. This is one of 3 videos that I'm going to be creating, taking a look at TTRPG items that I had gotten in the mail just this week. So take a look if you haven't already seen the other 2 videos. They should be coming out already or very soon. So definitely check out the channel and yeah, have a good zone.